Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of my exploration slash sleuthing of Viceversa's paper and sketchbooks. As promised, in this video I'll be creating a painting on their 300 GSM paper. So this one's more of a painting process video rather than a straight up review, but it should give you a better sense of how the paper actually behaves in use. I decided to be a bit adventurous for this and go for the hot press paper, which isn't my usual choice for watercolour. I normally go for cold press. But I really loved the hot press paper in my first Viceversa sketchbook, so I was curious to see how the 300 GSM version of the hot press, which actually feels, looks and behaves quite differently to the 140 GSM, would hold up. Spoiler, I loved it. Honestly, I wish I'd bought more, because I actually preferred it over the cold press and rough 300 GSM papers I tested in part 1. That said, I haven't yet created full paintings on either the cold press or rough, so the jury's still out there. As always, keep in mind I'm not a pro painter, I'm just an enthusiast, figuring things out as I go, and sometimes I do make quite a mess of it. Also, please note, I'm not affiliated with Viceversa, though I am definitely a fan of their products now, and I bought this paper, all of it, myself. In fact, I love the first Viceversa sketchbook that I bought so much that it's what finally nudged me to start a YouTube channel to tell others about it, since no one else seemed to be talking about Viceversa. So that's how much I like them, but I'm not affiliated with them. All right, let's get into the painting. Feel free to paint along, craft, knit, fill in a colouring book, or do whatever makes you happy. Also, don't hesitate, as ever, to skip parts that bore you, speed things up or slow them down. Watch at whatever speed you want, or even mute me if you hate the sound of my voice. You probably do by now. I often enjoy having other people's videos on in the background, personally, while I work or make art, so I'd be honoured to be that for you. Okay, let's do this. So here you can see I'm sketching. Well, I've been sketching since the beginning of this video, in fact, whilst I was rambling. So I'm sketching out kind of like a very, very basic drawing of what I'm going to be painting. This is from a photograph, but it's my photograph of a still life that I've actually painted from life. And unfortunately, I lost my original painting, so I decided to try painting again, but this time from a photograph instead of the actual fruit, because I don't have the fruit anymore. Also because I didn't really like the first painting, and it wasn't finished, and I wanted to try my hand at doing it again to see what would happen. So this was a painting from last year. Yeah, so here I'm just sketching it in using if you want to know what the pencil is, it's Blackwing, I think it's a 604, I can't remember exactly what it's called. I should check really, but why check when you can just ramble into a microphone instead? Yeah, so it's a Blackwing pencil, it's the grey one. I think it's meant to be for writing, but I really like it for sketching because I find Blackwing pencils are really soft anyway, so it's perfectly fine for me. And now that I'm ready, I'm going to come in with some putty eraser or kneadable eraser, however you call it. So here I'm grabbing my Daniel Smith split primary set, which is actually called Watercolour Essentials. And I'm coming in with some phthalo blue. And the reason I picked phthalo is because it's staining. And as you can see, I'm laying down some shadow areas first. So that's why I picked a staining paint. So that then when I come over the top with different colour, with some glazing, that's what it's called, it won't be lifted, the blue will not be lifted. But yeah, so it's going to be a lot of this, which might be a bit, I don't know, you might enjoy this. I was going to say it might be a bit dull, but I find it quite relaxing actually. I like starting out laying down shadow areas with blue. And yeah, so I'm putting it down and then I'm kind of picking it up with a tissue. So I'm kind of leaving a stain and kind of softening the edges with the tissue. I don't know if that's a proper technique, but that's what I do and it works for me. Can kind of control the level of staining that way and soften it. And then because the paper is still wet, I can kind of blend in more. This brush that I'm holding is actually a silver black velvet travel brush. It's called Voyage in a size 8. And the one on the brush rest on the left is also a silver black velvet brush, but it's a size 10. So yeah, I'm just establishing kind of the shadow areas with the blue. Just going straight in with some phthalo. And then I'm coming over the top with more, just to darken, to make, deepen the shadows. I mean, the way I'm talking, I sound like an expert. I'm not. I'm still figuring things out. I'm just telling you what my process is, what I'm doing. So yeah, I like to kind of map out the shadow areas and then gradually darken them. And so far my impression of the paper is it doesn't behave like I expected it to behave. Because I don't usually use hot press paper, I use cold press. But this paper, I don't know if it's because of the texture, because it's got this really fluffy texture compared to other hot press paper that's kind of commercially made, that you would come across like big brand names. Got this very silky, fluffy texture. And yeah, it doesn't behave unlike cold press paper that I've used. I didn't feel like I was painting on a totally different, like that this was a completely different painting experience to what I'm used to. But it was really smooth, so really, really smooth, but silky and fluffy. It was just really, really interesting. Like I felt the brush really glide. And as you can see, I mean, I'm using phthalo, so that's why it's not lifting that much. But it's still lifting, so, you know, I can put down the paint and I can lift it. So this is not proper like wet in wet, like I haven't wet the paper. But in the bits where I've put a bit of paint down, when I put more paint, even if I've used the paper to blot it, the napkin, it still spreads. So you can see, you know, it's cotton paper. It behaves like cotton paper. It stays nice and wet, but not like damp, not soaking wet. Oh, and here I made a huge mistake. I tried to darken on the right hand side. You can see I tried to darken the edge of the apple with the phthalo, and I created a hard edge. I should have darkened the whole thing because it's quite a dark area. And yeah, I just created a sort of hard edge, and it makes that side of the apple look kind of flat as a result. I think here I was trying to make it a bit more three-dimensional, but I didn't succeed. And yeah, I'm not super happy with this painting, but I was happy with the experience. I've really enjoyed making this painting, largely because of the paper. Really, really enjoyed it. So here you can see, like I said, I'm gradually darkening. So I started just mapping out, and now I'm kind of darkening those areas. Although I wet the paper minimally, the paint spreads out really nicely. And here, I don't know why I'm darkening that edge. I mean, it is a darker edge. It is, like, to be fair. But because I stop at the apple, I don't know, that side of the apple, the right-hand side of the apple looks kind of flat. I should have shaded, it's actually a piece of fabric. I should have made the entirety of the fabric next to the apple darker. So here I'm adding some of the folds of the fabric in phthalo. Again, I'm still only using phthalo. And now I'm wetting the entire area of the apple, because as you can see on the left, I'm gonna come in with some yellow. And I think it's Hansa Yellow Light. And I might have mixed in a little bit of phthalo because it's got a bit of a greenish tint. And then there I made a mistake because I was only going to use 3 colours on this, like 3 paints. And I didn't realise I used the wrong red. I reverted to the Quin Magenta. But I put in a bit of the warm red, and then I realised what I was doing. Because I planned to use the Quin Magenta and just mix the right shade of red. And you can see, you can mix colours optically by layering. So here I'm going in with the Hansa Yellow Light, still. Has a little bit of phthalo in it. And I'm largely optically mixing, just by layering. And I like the way that looks. It makes things look really luminous. And this is where I realised I'd used the wrong red. You can see at the top now I'm using the Quin Magenta. I think it's Quin Magenta in the Daniel Smith split primary set. And I mixed that with a bit of Hansa Yellow Light and maybe a little bit of phthalo in there as well to make it a bit duller, maybe. So I'm just gradually darkening it and adding more red to the areas that are more intense. So for the rest of the painting, other than those teeny touches of red on the apple that you see right now, I only used 3 colours. The Quin Magenta, the Hansa Yellow Light and the Phthalo Blue. Just layering those or mixing from those. But this is the Quin Magenta mixed with a little bit of phthalo and Hansa Yellow Light, make the kind of brownish red. So here I'd added more phthalo and mixed this kind of darker colour. And unfortunately, I'm only making that edge on the right hand side harder. And to be fair, the contrast between the apple and the shadow next to it from the fold of the fabric is actually quite hard. It's strong, but I should have made the fabric darker, matching the darkness of that hard edge. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just testing the paper and I'm just practicing, I'm learning. And same, here it's a mixture again of phthalo, of Hansa Yellow Light, and of Quin Magenta. Very, very heavy on the phthalo, as you can see, because it's very, very blue. And gradually darkening. And the more that you layer, the darker it will get. But you have to be careful not to get muddy. But that's not really going to happen if you're using only 3 paints and the staining I mean, only 3 paints, only 3 pigments. I mean, I suppose there are paints that could get quite muddy really quickly. So yeah, I mean, you can see how luminous things look on this paper. And I feel like I'm getting a lot of control on it, which I wasn't expecting. Because like I've said, I'm not used to hot press paper. I think I've experimented a little bit with it before, but I don't really know what I'm doing on hot press paper. And this is my first proper painting on hot press paper, and I didn't really feel a huge difference. I was really surprised. And I think it's really a testament to Viceversa's paper. So there I tried, on the right-hand side, I tried to darken the shadow, but somehow I made the edge stronger again. So I've darkened everything, including the edge. Oh dear. I don't know, maybe it's not that bad, but it looks wrong to me. Anyway, this is just a paper test. Let's just keep going. And here I am wetting the entire background, or most of the background. I think I was coming in to do the fabric, or maybe just the shadow of the fabric now. Yeah, it's just a shadow. So there's a piece of fabric that was kind of magenta that was folded on top of the fruit. So now I'm doing the shadow where the fabric falls on top. I always worry that I'm boring you to death. I hope not. I mean, everybody's got different tastes, so I really like long, rambly videos because they keep me company. Especially when I'm working on something, I need to have something on that is a bit kind of tranquil and rambly, so that I can tune in and out with what's being said and not feel like I'm losing something really important, really important bit of information. So I don't mind rambly videos, but yeah, we're all different. So I mean, you know, if you absolutely hate it, you know, you don't have to watch, I guess. So you might be watching because you're hoping that there's going to be some bit of really important information, and then there isn't, and then you're getting really frustrated, in which case, sorry. Yeah, I am rambly, and my videos are going to be rambly because I'm a rambly person. But yeah, let's get back to what is going on with the painting, because looking at this, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. I think I decided I didn't have any idea, actually, and I decided that I was just going to paint over what I did. I think I was trying to make some folds with the Quin Magenta, but I don't know. I have no idea. It just looks not good, let's say. Anyway, so here I'm wetting, like I'm really wetting the paper with a brush. So I'm going to obviously come in with a Quin Magenta and I think this is just straight Quin Magenta. I haven't mixed And I'm doing the fabric. It's the backdrop. It's this piece of fabric, like a shawl. I can't remember what it was. And it was kind of almost this magenta color, almost exactly. So that's why I'm going straight with the Queen Magenta. I think I darkened it somewhat after. Maybe. Maybe those marks that I made were to mark out areas where the folds were happening. I was just trying things out, but I don't think that was a very good idea. You can see I've put in a bit of the Hansa yellow and maybe a little bit of phthalo because it looks like a dirty orangey colour. I don't know, it looks kind of like a disaster right now. And hopefully it's a case of it needs to look terrible before it looks good. But I'm enjoying this paper so much. I wish I'd got more. And I haven't tried the cold press paper. But I kind of really like the smooth texture of this one. And it's not throwing me at all because it's behaving like I would expect cold press paper to behave. I mean, from my experience, it's not really doing anything different to what I would expect. But it's got a smooth kind of, yeah, that silky, I don't know, it's really lush. I love it. And I mean, when I mean the hot press paper, I mean this hot press paper. I like the texture of this hot press paper by Viceversa. So here I'm darkening in places where there's shadow or folds. And I'm using a mix, again, a mix of those three colours. And I'm moving to the fabric that the fruit was resting on. So the fabric here was kind of a bluish with a pattern on it. At the moment, it kind of looks like a disaster. Anyway, it's good for you to see what the wet paper behaves like. So you can see it stays wet, so I've wet it. It stays wet, but it's not sodden. And the paint just kind of, you put it down and it just spreads. And I felt like I had a lot of control on this paper. And it wasn't drying in weird ways. Like it wasn't, I mean, I've heard that with hot press, sometimes the water sits on the surface. And it didn't seem to. So here I'm coming in with a pencil because I'm trying to trace the pattern of the fabric, just so that I'm not kind of going in completely blind. This bit needs to be quite precise. I mean, not super precise, I'm just eyeballing it, but precise enough that the pattern still respects the perspective and doesn't throw things off. And it still looks like a pattern on the fabric and not something else. I'm not explaining myself very well. Hopefully you'll see what I mean. So if this is successful, it'll add to the sense of perspective and the sense of it being fabric, rather than detract from it. And again, I'm going in with a mixture of all three colours. This one's got quite a bit of phthalo and quin magenta. And the fabric on top is a disaster. But that's not because of the paper, that's because of me. It doesn't really matter at this stage because I'm going to darken it anyway. I'm going to go on top of it. But where I put the bits that are kind of orangey in the folds, orangey brown, I think my brush was too wet. It was a bit too diluted. But these bits at the bottom now where I'm doing the pattern, they're not coming off too badly actually. Do you see what I mean about the folds and how it's adding to a sense of fabricness with a pattern? Where the fabric kind of has a bit of a fold. It's kind of adding to that impression now. And here again, I attempted to make that bit darker, but the edge was kind of firmly on there. So I don't know what I'm doing. It looks like I'm mixing my entire palette. Oh, I'm making a shadow stronger. But it looks like I mixed every single colour on my palette together. But I'm only using 3 pigments, so I'm only using 3 of the colours in that split primary palette. I'm only using the cools. So yeah, so I can just mix everything together and it doesn't really matter. Okay, so here I have turned it around because I am wetting the magenta fabric. And I want to kind of quickly come on top of the previous layers. So I turned it upside down because I wet the paper quite a lot. I knew it was going to kind of drip down. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm kind of cleaning off the drippage. And if you don't do that, the wet paint that collects at the bottom on the tape can flow back in and create cauliflowers. I think I was trying to make the shadows stronger. It was quite dark. And I tried to get rid of that edge, but I always kept making it stronger. And then at one point I just told myself that's it, enough. Even though, it's not really finished. I could fix it, but that's it. Just stop here. It's a test. Anything that I do is only going to make it worse. Maybe come back to it in the future. I don't know. I mean, I could use pencil or something, but I just wanted it to be pure watercolor. So yeah, it's now dry. This is my painting. It's not fully finished, but it was just a test. I was just trying out the paper and I was just practicing to get better. So yeah, so here it is. Here's my painting and you can see the lovely texture of the paper in this close-up. I had a great time with this paper, absolutely great time. And I only wish I'd got more of it, more of the hot press. But I haven't really properly tried the cold press yet, so don't know yet how it behaves, but imagine it behaves in a similar fashion. And I'm used to normally using cold press paper. But this paper, the hot press one, was kind of a revelation for me. Yeah, so hopefully you'll see me use the cold press one in the sketchbooks because I've got lots of sketchbooks now. And they've got the 300 GSM cold press paper. So you'll see me use that in the coming months when I manage to make my videos and edit them, because you have no idea how long it takes me to edit them. Largely because I ramble so much, I have to edit the sound so much to make it understandable and a little bit less rambly. I have been your host, the Strange Connector. I hope I didn't bore you to death. And I hope you got something from what I did. And if not, I hope I was some kind of company. And yeah, I loved this paper. I really loved it. And I look forward to using it more. Bye bye.